Hey guys, Michael here. I am back with another video. This is part two of a two-part series of actually unboxing and setting up the xTool Apparel printer and automatic shaker oven. If you haven't seen part one, where I actually unbox everything and put them together, check out the link above where you can actually go and look at that video. But in this one, we're going to finish this up. We're going to put the transfer paper on here. We're going to put the ink inside the apparel printer, and also we're going to put the powder inside the automatic shaker oven. Stick with me. Let's get to it. This is what the apparel printer film looks like on the printer holder. But what if you have one that need to be replaced? Let me show you how to replace the film when it runs out. Over here on the left-hand side, there's a little button. You press this down, slide it off. You slide this white thing off, and then you can remove the film from the holder. When you buy a new film, it's going to look like this. You're going to slide it on. You're going to slide the white thing on. And then finally, you're going to use this blue thing to lock it in place. Now let's put it on the back of the apparel printer. To install the printer film, simply lift the left arm and put the film in the holders. Make sure that the top of the film is going out because it's going to have to come off the top and into the printer. Close this arm when finished. Before you insert the printer film into the apparel printer, you must first open the lid. With the printer turned off, slide the print head to the right. And then over here on the bottom left, there is a little lever. You're going to lift this up with your hand. That will open up the pinch rollers to allow you to insert the printer film. Back on the back side of the apparel printer, peel off the tape on the back of the printer film, and you're going to simply unroll this while inserting into the back of the printer. While you do this, look on the inside of the printer and you can watch the film roll into the printer. Pay close attention to the right-hand side so that make sure the film is lining up with the alignment marks. Also, you want to make sure you slide these arms on the left and right-hand side so that it is holding the printer film on both sides so that it won't lift up while printing. You want the film to go all the way across and almost up to where it cuts, which is in the little groove in the front. Once you're satisfied with the way it's inserted, you can come back over here and release the pinch roller lever, and you can slide the print head back to the left. So the next thing I'm going to do is put the ink inside the printer. On this back lid right here, all you have to do is simply lift it up and it's held on by magnets. Next thing we need to do is pour the ink into the appropriate bin in the back side. Okay, this first one is the moisturizing liquid, which is what we have here. To open this, you simply lift it up like that, and you can take it and spin it around 180 degrees so that it's out of the way. So you can take this and pour it in there. When you're finished, you would just spin this back and close it. I will say that once you start using these, be careful opening these because there may be some ink on the underside of these lids, and you don't want to splatter it and splash it when you actually open these, especially when you get to the colors over here. Now the ink is filled, I can put the lid back on the back here. A couple of tips that I noticed when I was filling this up with ink. One, you need a funnel because the bottles, you can't get close enough to the openings to actually fill them up without actually possibly spilling it. What I did was I had a 2-liter soda bottle and I cut the lid off and used that as my funnel and making sure to clean and dry it between each of these fillings, so that I don't have any kind of cross contamination. The other thing that I noticed was the lids are very hard to open. So you open the lid and inside there's a seal. I couldn't get the seal broken enough where I can just peel it off. So I actually had to use a knife and cut around in the inside of the circle and then just peel that inner circle out of the ink. And then the last thing was pay attention to the capacity that you put in here. Now, the bottles that came with this apparel printer, they filled them up just enough, but make sure maybe they overfilled one of your bottles when you fill this up to make sure it doesn't overfill. You don't want to make that mistake because it's really a mess to clean up. But all these bottles, including the conditioner, actually fill them up just right, except for the white. The white actually has, I believe, double the capacity as the rest of the colors because you use the white pretty much all the time, especially when you're printing back behind your colors. That's the way I understand it. Don't hold me to that, but because again, this is all new to me. So we have everything set up on the apparel printer. What I need to do next is put the powder inside the shaker oven. I had a few people ask me, and I've seen some people ask in the Facebook groups, did the machine come with the powder? Here in this picture, this is everything that it came with on my machine. Now, take this with a grain of salt because my machine is not a full production machine. Some of the packaging you see is maybe not be the packaging that you're going to get on a production model. Maybe some of the accessories are maybe different. I don't know 100% on that. But the powder, it did come with my shaker oven accessory kit. So I'm going to use the xTool Select powder to put in there. So that's the next thing we're going to do is open this up and show you how to put the powder in. So over here on this right hand side, there's a little door here that has a little picture of a hand. You want to press on this and the door opens up. Inside here, there is a little handle. This handle has two different positions. It has a pull and a pour position. The pull position, this allows you to pull this out. You want to take this out all the way and put it on a table. Once you put it on the table, take your apparel printer powder and you want to open the bag. Evenly spread the powder all the way across. Once you're finished, you can actually shake this a little bit to make sure you spread out the powder evenly. With the powder evenly distributed, we can put it back into the shaker oven. With it fully inserted, you want to turn the handle counterclockwise until it stops at the pour. That way it will dump all the powder out into the shaker oven. To make sure all the powder gets out of the bin, you can bump it a little bit like that. And then when you're finished, simply close the door and you're finished with that part. So on the back side, there's a few things we need to plug in. There's a data cable we need to plug in to connect the printer to the oven. It looks like a small telephone cord. You want to plug that in on the left-hand side, route it so that it doesn't get way of the film or the roller, paper roller. And there's also two power cords you need to use. There's a thick one and a thin one. The thin one goes on the printer and the thick one goes on the oven. So the oven is on the left-hand side and the printer is on the right-hand side. And lastly, you'll use the small USB cable to do the initial connection to your computer inside XCS so you can update the firmware and establish that Wi-Fi signal. So you can use this plug here. It has a USB-A and a USB-C adapter. So if you have a USB-C only computer, you can use it this way. If you have a computer with a USB-A and doesn't have a USB-C, that's why they give you that cable there. So you take your USB-C only, plug it into the printer, and the other end, depending on what you need, you plug it into your computer. The last thing you need to install on the back is the exhaust hose that comes with the oven. You can simply plug it in just like this, and you can extend this out. You could run this out your window, or you can connect it to your AP2, depending on how you're going to exhaust the fumes from the oven. All right, it's all finished up. I have the ink, I have the paper, I have the powder. I am ready to start printing. So the next thing I need to do is find a permanent home for this set up my air purifier, put it next to it, and kind of lock the wheels down so it doesn't want to move. Go through installing XCS, the latest version, and calibrating this thing and making my first prints with this. So that will be in another video. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you get notified the next time I have a new video about the xTool Apparel printer. Until then, I'll see you guys next time.